Prime Minister Modi in Russia. Russia rolls out red carpet for Prime Minister. Dil, dosti and diplomacy in Russia. India today tracks time-tested ties. Namaste Russia.
Hello and welcome to an India Today special broadcast that comes to you from outside the Kremlin in Moscow, Russia. I'm Gaurav Sawant. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has arrived in Moscow for his first bilateral meeting in his third tenure with the Russian President Vladimir Putin. The two are set to have a private dinner, and this private dinner at a dacha on the outskirts of Moscow is symbolism, giving out that message that India is very close to Russia. It's a message for Prime Minister Narendra Modi, it's a message for Russia, it's a message for India, and it's a message for the world that increasingly has been trying to isolate Russia on Russia's special operations in Ukraine, or that war that's been on since February 2022. Over the course of the next half hour, we get you details of what's already happened and what will happen over the next 24 hours, including Russia conferring its highest decoration on Prime Minister Narendra Modi, which was of course announced in 2019. But first, as always, the headlines. Four soldiers killed, 6 injured after terrorists ambushed their convoy in Kathua, Jammu and Kashmir. Sources said terrorists fled the site. Anti-terror operations underway. Supreme Court pulls up National Testing Agency over NEET leak, says sanctity of exams destroyed, asks for full disclosure of the scam. CBI, Centre and the National Testing Agency to file an affidavit by Wednesday. Shinde Neta Rajesh Shah gets bail in a day in Mumbai hit and run horror. His son and main accused Mihir remains on the run. Maharashtra Chief Minister Shinde says no culprit will be spared. Monsoon mayhem wreaks havoc. Financial capital Mumbai waterlogged, homes inundated, flight operations disrupted. NDRF teams have now been deployed. Focus story on the broadcast is Prime Minister Narendra Modi's power dinner with the Russian President Vladimir Putin. The Prime Minister arrived earlier this afternoon to a grand reception in Moscow. From the reception he got at the Guard of Honor at the airport, to the cavalcade and the reception at his hotel. But these are optics. If we were to continue talking about the optics, the Prime Minister is currently en route the dacha on the outskirts of Moscow, the private residence of the Russian President, where there is a one-to-one dinner. It's a one-on-one. It's only Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the Russian President Vladimir Putin, and of course their interpreters. No ministers, no officials, just the two heads of state and government interacting personally. The two have known each other for decades. They're said to be close personal friends, apart from being top political leaders who won elections in their respective countries. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has returned to a historic third term in power after 60 years. The government has returned to power for a third term. Russian President Putin has also won elections, and here the two leaders will actually set the agenda for the talks that happen tomorrow. So the two are going to have detailed and a very extensive engagement beyond pleasantries, because when the two leaders meet one-on-one, they decide the agenda of the cooperation and the direction the officials and the ministers will take. Let's quickly listen in to the spokesperson of the Ministry of External Affairs on the first part of this engagement.
Tomorrow, Prime Minister has a packed schedule. He'll be attending the 22nd Annual Summit. He will have restricted and delegation level talks, and he will meet the Indian community. He will address the Indian community members and also visit Rosatom, an exhibition space.
And India Today now gets you the inside scoop of India's priority for this engagement with Russia. Top priority for India is the repatriation of the Indian civilians who were misled and now are fighting with the Russian army in Ukraine. 4 Indian civilians have been killed. 10 have so far been repatriated, but anything between 35 and 50, that's the information that India has so far, are still there in Ukraine. And India's effort is to ensure that they're repatriated as quickly as possible. That's point 1. Point 2, India's big message to Russia: solution of the war cannot be found on the battlefield. And that's a big signal from India to Russia. This actually is the message of the global south or the developing countries, because this conflict that's been on since February 2022 in the past 2.5 years has adversely impacted not just Russia and Ukraine, but it's had a global impact, and especially on the developing world. Whether it's oil prices that have gone up, whether it's fertilizer availability, that the shortage of food grain or their prices going up, and the impact is felt more by the global south or by the developing countries. So if fertilizers are not available, it impacts agriculture, not just in India, but agriculture in developing countries. So that's the message that Prime Minister Narendra Modi carries to the Russian President Vladimir Putin, that a solution for a conflict cannot be found in the battlefield. That's the message. Now, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is having that dinner. When you're having a personal dinner, there's a lot that can be communicated. There's a lot that can be explained and understood. The Russian perspective is also extremely critical, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi would want to understand the Russian perspective on this so-called special operations in Ukraine. Point 2. The bigger engagement between India and Russia. So far, the entire focus would remain on defense and strategy. Now the focus is on economy and developing trends. Where can India and Russia cooperate? Economy, the trade imbalance. That's something that India is trying to address very severely. $65 billion worth of trade between the two countries, $60 billion in Russia's favor because of defense and oil. But of course, the $5 billion worth Indian exports to Russia, India is seeing how that can be increased, how that can be encouraged. What is Russia's game plan and roadmap for that, and what is India's roadmap and game plan? I'll get you details over the course of the next half hour, but take a look at our top story.
Destination Moscow is Modi 3.0's first foreign state visit. In a world in churn, an unmissable geopolitical message, where the Indian Prime Minister and Russian President set the stage for a splash that will send ripples globally. The upcoming Modi-Putin hug and handshake, part of the 22nd India-Russia summit, affirms India's oldest and most robust diplomatic relationship, even as India has navigated a new multilateral identity. Modi and Putin will revive the whole range of bilateral ties in defense, investment, energy cooperation, education, culture, and people-to-people exchanges in the next 2 days.
Today, India-Russia ties are characterized by a special and privileged strategic partnership that defines the contours of our cooperation and our interaction across a large number of issues and areas of mutual interest.
Notably, this will be Prime Minister Modi's first trip to Russia ever since Putin launched his military offensive and invaded Ukraine in 2022. In light of that, this summit could not come at a more telling time. On the day the two leaders hold their Moscow summit, a big NATO summit takes place in America's capital, with the leaders of 32 NATO countries and Ukraine's president in attendance. While India's stance on Russia has been criticized in the context of the Ukraine war, Modi's Foreign Office has silenced critics with its deft handling of a deeply polarizing set of issues and relationships.
Yesterday evening, President Putin mentioned to me that he's looking forward very much to that visit. So I think preparations are underway. Obviously, our discussions contributed to it. But what will come out, you will have to wait till the visit is.
Putin has also added spice to the proceedings by calling out a jealous West over the India-Russia handshake. The Modi-Putin relationship itself has stayed the course. All eyes will now be on the outcome of the summit, on an enduring friendship and its impact on a troubled world.
For 26 hours, the two heads of state and government will be together. There is conversation on defense, there's conversation on high-end technology, there's conversation on trade and economy, especially on the trade imbalance between India and Russia, and new areas of cooperation between the two countries. So connectivity and trade are high. Gaurav Sawant in Moscow, Russia, for India Today. Both India and Russia are trying to strengthen this relationship and take it to the next level. Cooperation in defense is something that the two countries have been engaging in for the past 50 years and more. Now, in the future, economy will be the driver. Connectivity remains extremely critical, as does India's main focus area, which is digital India. So how can these areas, railways again important in connectivity, how are these areas where the two countries can enhance their cooperation? I caught up with India's ambassador to Russia, Ambassador Vinay Kumar, to hear what his thoughts are and what are India's plans to take this relationship forward. Let's listen in. The Prime Minister's first visit, bilateral, after his historic win, is to Russia. What's the signal, sir, and what do we expect from this visit?
Well, this visit is situated in the tradition of annual summit that our two countries have. The last summit was in 2021, and since then we have been waiting for this visit. So now that the Prime Minister has got opportunity to visit, he would be having 22nd annual summit with the President of Russian Federation, that is President Vladimir Putin.
And what do we expect from this visit? Because if we were to talk about the traditional strategic ties between India and Russia, whether it's from the 1950s or the pact in 1971 or the Kargil conflict, Russia's always been a close friend of India. But now, in the field of critical technologies, in the field of defense, new technologies, how is this relationship being taken forward? Co-production, co-manufacturing, or the issue of space?
Today, India-Russia ties are characterized by a special and privileged strategic partnership that defines the contours of our cooperation and our interaction across a large number of issues and areas of mutual interest. Defense is, of course, an important part. We are doing co-production of a number of defense items. But also our relations have expanded in trade and investments. There are Indian investments in Russian energy sector. There are Russian investments in India, in energy, in railways, in defense production I mentioned, also steel. So these relations are expanding in trade and economic fields. We also have very close cooperation in scientific field, joint work between a number of Indian and Russian institutions. We have very active collaboration in cultural and academic educational fields. We have close people-to-people ties. So as I said, the overall framework for these multifaceted relationship today is the annual summit between the two leaders and the special and privileged strategic partnership that we have.
Sir, when we talk about energy cooperation and the cheap crude that we got from Russia exported to the rest of the world, that's held both countries in good stead. How is that energy cooperation being taken forward?
The cooperation continues. Part of this decisions procurement of energy crude from Russia is a commercial decision which the Russian companies and Indian companies do on the basis of spot purchases, on the basis of term contract. So it continues, and so I'm sure that the oil companies of the two countries will find it mutually attractive to continue this cooperation.
It's also led to a trade imbalance where it's about $60 billion plus in Russia's favor, for about $4 to $5 billion is India's export. How does that get addressed, sir?
That is a new thing. That is the trade deficit in favor of Russia to the tune of $55 billion, primarily by enhanced procurement of crude oil from Russia. Has created a new situation, and we are working constantly with our Russian colleagues and Indian manufacturers, Indian chambers of commerce, to find new items to add to the Indian basket, and also expand the traditional items of export from India to Russia. That is pharmaceutical, tea, auto parts, engineering goods, chemicals, and look for the new avenues. So agricultural and food products is a very important sector that we are looking at to Russia.
So agriculture, food products, what else can India export, and how does that rupee-ruble trade, is it possible to take that forward? Because several businesses say investing here could invite sanctions.
That is a commercial decision that the business entities have to make. Our work is to provide the framework which attracts investment, and to that extent the trade settlement in national currencies has been helping.
Sir, there's India's friends with Russia, India's friends with NATO, with Ukraine. There's a NATO meet that's also on at the time when Prime Minister Narendra Modi is coming here. What signals are we sending out to the rest of the world?
We are working for our bilateral relations with Russia here, and we will continue to do so.
And that does not impact the world adversely, or the world does not look at it in a scenario where there's a conflict with Ukraine?
India-Russia relations do contribute to peace, stability, development of a large number of people and across the region. And the leaders will certainly exchange views on the regional developments, on global issues as well.
So there is tremendous enthusiasm in the Indian camp. As far as the Russians are concerned, we got a view from a political leader of the Russian party, from President Putin's party, United Russia Party, but he's a political leader here with a difference. We spoke to Abhay Singh. Abhay Singh is a deputat, or in Russia, member of a legislative assembly, the Kursk Assembly, and he wins with record margins. He's of Indian origin, has been here in Russia since the early 1990s, and he says Russia is... प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी की ये जो रूस की यात्रा है, आपकी पार्टी और रूस इसे किस तरह से देखते हैं?
देखिए, प्रधानमंत्री जी का रूस दौरा, मॉस्को का दौरा काफ़ी महत्वपूर्ण है, क्योंकि काफ़ी दिन से इसका इंतज़ार किया जा रहा था, और हिंदुस्तान का कद अब पहले जैसा नहीं रह गया है। हिंदुस्तान का कद वर्ल्ड के जियोपॉलिटिक्स में काफ़ी ऊंचा उठ चुका है, और मोदी जी का यहाँ आने पे न केवल राष्ट्रपति पुतिन खुश हो रहे हैं, यहाँ के लीडर्स खुश हो रहे हैं, बल्कि यहाँ की हर जनता, हर नागरिक में खुशी है और एक जोश है। और मेरे ख्याल से इस विजिट का बहुत बड़ा रिजल्ट आएगा, इस पे पूरी दुनिया की नजर है।
जी, अच्छा, राष्ट्रपति पुतिन इससे इतने खुश क्यों हैं, और यहाँ की जनता, प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी अपने थर्ड टर्म में जिस पहले देश में आ रहे हैं वो रशिया है, तो यहाँ की जनता इससे इतनी खुश क्यों है?
देखिए, राष्ट्रपति पुतिन ने फ्रेंड कंट्री के लिस्ट को जारी किया है। उस लिस्ट में इंडिया का नाम टॉप पे है, और इंडिया आज से नहीं, पिछले 75 सालों से बढ़िया रिलेशन चला आ रहा है। इस रिलेशन में कभी गिरावट नहीं आई है। जो भी उसका ग्राफ है वो ऊपर ही उठते जा रहा है, मतलब, और इस पार्टनरशिप में गर्मजोशी और आती जा रही है। इस बार जब पुतिन साहब ने नरेंद्र मोदी जी को दाचा पे बुलाया है, दाचा का मतलब फार्म हाउस होता है, फार्म हाउस पे अपने प्रेसिडेंट के फार्म हाउस में जब उन्होंने बुलाया है, इसका बहुत ही खास मकसद आप समझ जाइए। वहां पे काफी रेयर ही वर्ल्ड लीडर पहुंच चुके हैं।
आप इन जो बच्चों को देख सकते हैं, ये सारे बच्चे यहाँ केंद्रीय विद्यालय मॉस्को के हैं और ये सारे बच्चे यहाँ इकट्ठा हुए हैं प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी के स्वागत के लिए। ये प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी का पहला रूस का दौरा है अपने 3rd टर्म में और ये पहली उनकी द्विपक्षीय यात्रा भी है और इसीलिए इसका महत्व यहाँ बहुत ज्यादा बढ़ जाता है, न केवल भारत के लिए बल्कि रूस के लिए भी।
मैं इधर हूँ हमारे प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी को वेलकम करने के लिए।
अच्छा। मैं बहुत प्राउड हूँ कि वो आ रहे हैं मॉस्को में और मेरे को चाहिए कि वो और पुतिन जी को अच्छे रिलेशंस हो सकते हैं फ्यूचर में।
क्या बात है। आप तो बहुत, कौन सी क्लास में आप?
7th में पढ़ता हूँ।
आप 7th में पढ़ते हो और आपको अभी से ही मालूम है भारत और रूस के संबंधों के बारे में?
हाँ, बहुत देर से पता है।
क्या नाम है आपका?
मेरा नाम साबिर इम्तियाज है।
अरे शाबाश साबिर, एक्सीलेंट। तो ये हम आपको दिखाने का प्रयास कर रहे हैं कि किस तरह से यहाँ तैयारियां हो रही है। ये देखिए, भारतीय समुदाय यहाँ पर जो इकट्ठा है वो भारतीय समुदाय में भी उत्साह जबरदस्त है। ये जो कलाकार हैं ये सभी रूसी कलाकार हैं और ये रूसी कलाकार यहाँ पर गरबा नृत्य की इस समय तो प्रैक्टिस कर रहे हैं, लेकिन प्रैक्टिस के अलावा वो यहाँ पर प्रधानमंत्री को दिखाना चाहते हैं कि भारतीय संस्कृति से वो कितना जुड़े हुए हैं। Very amazing. When I spoke to some of these Russian dancers, they take keen interest in knowing not just the dance but the history of the dance. One of them told me Abhinay Kala hai, and it was fascinating. She's studying this as a subject. When she was wearing her ghungroos, she actually took the ghungroos, touched it to her forehead, and then she wore them. Now you will understand that, I will understand that, because we are Indians, we know our culture. But for her to do this, and she wasn't doing it for cameras, because where these people were getting ready for the performance, no cameras were allowed. We were interacting with them one-on-one. So you could see her love and respect for our culture. And this is the Indian community, the Indian diaspora who are here both outside and inside the hotel. Some of them could come get inside. Some of them are outside waving the Indian flag and the Russian flag. So if I could just show you the flag, it has Russia on one side and India on the other. So that is what they are attempting to show. So before we talk about the official leg of this journey, the fact that Bhangra is already happening, and I want to also show you, the dhol, the tashe, the nagade, they've already come here. They've actually put posters and placards and cutouts of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Watch that. That's a cutout of Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the Russian President Vladimir Putin. And you have the Indian and the Russian community, coming here.
जिंदाबाद मोदी, जिंदाबाद मोदी। मुझे यहाँ रहते 12 वर्ष हो गए हैं और हम लोग यहाँ पर आज मोदी जी का बेसब्री से इंतजार कर रहे हैं। बस ऐसा लग रहा है कि बहुत दिनों के बाद मायके से कोई आ रहा है।
Not just the Indian community, but I also want to show you these Russian Garba dancers. Hi, what's your name and what brings you here?
My name is Varvara. Your name is Elvira.
Indian dancers.
This day is very beautiful and wonderful because our birth country is very beautiful and with a lot of interesting culture traditions. I think it's really good.
ISKCON is also very well represented here.
And
let's quickly cut across and look at these images that are just coming in on India Today. Prime Minister Narendra Modi meeting the Russian President Vladimir Putin. This is a one-on-one.
उसके अलावा सांस्कृतिक संबंध हैं, इन संबंधों को लेकर के ये काफी महत्वपूर्ण मुलाकात है और ये दोनों नेताओं के बीच में
Very happy moment. You invited me to your home.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi has travelled to the outskirts
such a
of
program,
Moscow.
so thank you so much for this very interesting program and for your warm words. I'm really grateful for this.
दुनिया का ये सबसे बड़ा लोकतंत्र और दुनिया का एक प्रकार से मदर ऑफ डेमोक्रेसी है भारत, और ये चुनाव में करीब 65 करोड़ लोगों ने मतदान किया और भारत में करीब 60 साल के बाद एक सरकार फिर से चुन करके आई और तीसरी बार आई। जब हमारे पहले प्रधानमंत्री थे पंडित नेहरू, उस समय उनको तीसरी बार चुन करके आने का अवसर मिला था। 60 साल में किसी को नहीं मिला। मुझे इस बार देश की जनता ने फिर से एक बार सेवा करने का मौका दिया है।
You're right. The elections in India were important occasions in its scale. India is the largest democracy. It is considered to be mother of democracy, and in those elections some 650 million people voted, and it was the first time in India over the last 60 years when the government was re-elected for the third time. The first time it happened with Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru. And now, 60 years later, I've got this chance. The people of India gave me this opportunity to serve India.
जैसा आपने कहा कि 10 साल हमारा जो सरकार का मेरा तो सिद्धांत रहा है, रिफॉर्म, परफॉर्म एंड ट्रांसफॉर्म। देश की जनता ने उसको मोहर लगाई है, हमारी नीतियों पर मोहर लगाई है, और मैंने तय किया है कि मैं तीसरे टर्म में 3 गुना ज्यादा मेहनत करूंगा और मैं देश के लिए और अच्छे काम करने का प्रयास करूंगा।
I understand that the people of India who entrusted me with this mandate, I've been working for 10 years in the government, and my principle is reform, perform, and transform. The people voted for this very principle, and I'm confident. I believe that on my third term, I'm going to work 3 times as much.
आपने अपना पूरा जीवन जनता को समर्पित किया है और जनता ये जानते हैं।
So I can feel that you're serving the Indian people.
मेरा one life one vision है मेरा देश।
Да, вы правы. У меня только одна цель.
Yes, you're right. I've got only one goal: the people of India, my country.
Live images of Prime Minister Narendra Modi and President Vladimir Putin. A hug and a handshake that will be resonating across the world. A world in churn, especially the West, looking very closely at the body language of these two world leaders. Prime Minister Modi, in his third term as Prime Minister, making Russia his first foreign state visit, and the dynamic between the Indian leader and the Russian president clear for everyone to see. A hug, a handshake, sitting across a table for a few quick opening remarks before they've gone inside behind closed doors for their all-important one-on-one bilateral discussion. Only the two leaders and their interpreters will be in the room for that discussion, setting the stage for tomorrow's 22nd India-Russia summit-level talks that will be taking place in Moscow. And I'm now taking you straight back to Gaurav Sawant, who's live in Moscow. Gaurav, wonderful images coming in live of Prime Minister Modi and the Russian president. Lots of body language. Great to see the two leaders. The first visit by the Prime Minister in his third term.
Shiv, and a very important message that goes out to the rest of the world. The West that has increasingly been trying to isolate the Russian president and Russia after Russia's special operations in Ukraine or the conflict in Ukraine. Now, Russians are very happy and they're saying so in as many words. Dmitry Peskov, the spokesperson for Kremlin, yesterday made it very clear that the West would look at Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit with tremendous jealousy. And why would the West be jealous? Because the Prime Minister of the world's most vibrant democracy, the largest democracy, Prime Minister describes India as the mother of democracy, is here in Kremlin after winning a third term in office, something that Prime Minister Narendra Modi referred to himself, saying he has an opportunity to serve the people of India for a historic third term after 60 years after Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. And Pandit Nehru was credited to a very large extent of India's very warm relationship with Russia. That was actually the bedrock of the relationship taken forward each decade. In 71 by Indira Gandhi with that pact that was signed, the security pact between India and then Soviet Union that held India in good stead as India divided Pakistan into two and the birth of Bangladesh. And subsequently, that relationship has endured. In the 1960s, and Shiv, you cover aviation so extensively, from the MiG-21 fighter jets, the state-of-the-art fighter jets that were given to India that remained in service even till the 2022-23, that era. So imagine MiG-21, the supersonic fighter jet that held India in good stead through 65, then 71, even in Kargil operations, those aircraft were used. They're used for combat air patrol and for air defense, just till a couple of years ago. So that just shows how that relationship has endured. Then in the 1990s, the Sukhois that came in, licensed manufacture of Sukhois that's happened in India, from the T-72 Ajay tanks to the T-90 main battle tanks of the Indian Army. And now India is talking about manufacturing components of tanks in India, military hardware to be manufactured in India. But that's the relationship that was so far. Now the aim is to take it forward on an economic level. Economic ties, strengthen those ties because they are the most enduring ties. Of course, critical technology, in its time, BrahMos supersonic cruise missile, licensed manufacture, co-development, co-manufacturing, and now being exported to Philippines. Is it possible now to take it to the next level for other critical technologies? Defense cooperation, space cooperation, technology cooperation, and economic cooperation. What we've been told, Shiv, that economic cooperation forms the bedrock of this visit of Prime Minister Narendra Modi and future engagement with Russia. So, for example, India is big with Digital India. Can that be dovetailed into the Russian economy more effectively? Manufacture of railway wagons, the Vande Bharat, how does that be taken forward, for consumption in India, and also subsequently, will there be a global market for it? Those are areas that India is now exploring. Nuclear cooperation between India and Russia. There's an exhibition tomorrow where nuclear cooperation will be exhibited, and 10 children from India, 10 children from Russia will be talking about the nuclear cooperation between the two countries. So it's a wide gamut of engagement between India and Russia that the two countries intend to take forward with the focus on economy and people-to-people engagement, Shiv.
Very, very important relationship, this one. The Indian Prime Minister and the Russian President. This isn't just a bilateral meeting, remember, as Gaurav has been saying, the context in which the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Vladimir Putin are meeting happens to be a summit on the same day that the NATO summit will be taking place in America's capital, Washington, D.C. And Gaurav, that is something that makes this particular hug and handshake a truly international affair. It's not just a bilateral meeting between two old time-tested friends. Every Western power, including NATO and especially NATO, are looking very hard at this Modi-Putin Milan, because this is going to have a resonance going forward. Okay, we'll go back to Gaurav in just a moment, but these are live images, the images from just a few minutes ago, the first images of that hug and handshake by Putin and Modi. There have been a whole host of analysts. Gaurav is back with us. Gaurav, looking very closely, the West has been, looking with a little bit of a suspicion at the Modi-Putin relationship, which is probably why Putin said that the West is looking jealously at this entire summit. But the fact that the NATO summit is taking place in Washington on the same day as tomorrow's summit makes this a truly international summit, Gaurav.
This indeed is, and when I put this question to India's ambassador to Russia, Ambassador Vinay Kumar, he said, at least from the Indian perspective, this visit should be seen purely as a bilateral visit. This is a bilateral visit where India is also sending out that signal to all concerned that India will not compromise on a strategic partnership, a very privileged strategic partnership with Russia that's held India in good stead over decades. This is a friendship that has endured, a point that India has repeatedly made in various international relationships across the world. Well, there are ups and there are downs. There are ups and there are downs, or it may plateau. As far as the India-Russia relationship is concerned, India is very clear that there are ups, but there is no down. It's a trajectory. It's a very smooth upward trajectory from the 1950s till 2024. And the two leaders, as they meet right now, as that dinner takes place at the Dacha on the outskirts of Moscow, the conversation is to take this relationship forward. Let it be a futuristic relationship, a relationship that will positively impact the world, not just the people of India and Russia. That is the effort in this relationship. This relationship has not seen downs, is the message that India has constantly sent across. And it's been let down by friends from the West in some instances. It's never been let down by Russia. That's the point that Indologists and those who've been looking at India-Russia relationship very closely, they are trying to put across. Of course, as far as we are concerned, it also remains a fact, Shiv, that there have been times that India thought that Russia is getting closer to China, and that is where, especially at the United Nations Security Council, France has been a very strong partner of India. But under President Putin and Prime Minister Narendra Modi, the effort is to ensure that the entire world sees India as one bloc. Russia is also trying to put across that message, Shiv, that Russian closeness with China, especially after these Ukraine operations, does not mean it's happening at the cost of India.
Gaurav, I want to play out for our viewers once again, in case they missed it, the interaction that the Indian Prime Minister has just had with that Russian president. These were the opening remarks they made to each other, all of it on camera.
आपने कहा कि 10 साल हमारा जो सरकार का और मेरा तो सिद्धांत रहा है, रिफॉर्म, परफॉर्म एंड ट्रांसफॉर्म। देश की जनता ने उसको मोहर लगाई है, हमारी नीतियों पर मोहर लगाई है, और मैंने तय किया है कि मैं तीसरे टर्म में 3 गुना ज्यादा मेहनत करूंगा और मैं देश के लिए और अच्छे काम करने का प्रयास करूंगा। आपने कहा कि 10 साल हमारा जो सरकार का और मेरा तो सिद्धांत रहा है, रिफॉर्म, परफॉर्म एंड ट्रांसफॉर्म। देश की जनता ने उसको मोहर लगाई है, हमारी नीतियों पर मोहर लगाई है, और मैंने तय किया है कि मैं तीसरे टर्म में 3 गुना ज्यादा मेहनत करूंगा और मैं देश के लिए और अच्छे काम करने का प्रयास करूंगा।
Well, Vladimir Putin, the Russian president, has had very glowing words to say about the Indian Prime Minister, very much in keeping with this relationship which has stood the test of time and has stood the test of the most difficult circumstances, especially Russia's almost total isolation by the West in the wake of its invasion of Ukraine. That war is still very much still on. India has been looked at as a Russian ally, as a country that has navigated very, very difficult foreign policy choices to come up looking far better than most of the Western powers in a deeply polarizing geopolitical issue. We're going to go back to Gaurav in just a moment, but let's listen in once again to both these leaders. Remember, viewer, that this is Modi 3.0's first foreign state visit.
And it was the first time in India over the last 60 years when the government was re-elected for the third time. The first time it happened with Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru. And now, 60 years later, I've got this chance. The people of India gave me this opportunity to serve India.
जैसा आपने कहा कि 10 साल हमारा जो सरकार का मेरा तो सिद्धांत रहा है रिफॉर्म, परफॉर्म एंड ट्रांसफॉर्म। देश की जनता ने उसको मोहर लगाई है, हमारी नीतियों पर मोहर लगाई है और मैंने तय किया है कि मैं तीसरे टर्म में 3 गुना ज्यादा मेहनत करूंगा और मैं देश के लिए और अच्छे काम करने का प्रयास करूंगा।
आपने अपना पूरा जीवन जनता को समर्पित किया है और जनता ये जानते हैं।
मेरा वन लाइफ वन विजन है मेरा देश।
Remember that today's remarks precede a one-on-one meeting that's taking place as we speak between Prime Minister Modi and President Putin behind closed doors with just their interpreters before the big summit-level talks that take place between Indian and Russian delegations led by the two leaders tomorrow. I want to bring Gaurav back in on this. Gaurav, the one-on-one meeting that's taking place, I presume, between Modi and Putin right now, can you throw some light on what that conversation is likely to be about? That's going to be a more, more unofficial kind of conversation between the two individual leaders. Am I right?
Shiv, spot on. The two leaders are close. They know each other. They respect each other. They know each other's strength. And they've studied each other. And both have won elections, have come back to power. This gives them the confidence to engage because both are also now on a legacy trip. That they want to give a legacy and leave a legacy of an enduring partnership that's been taken to the next level while they were at the helm of affairs. India's big message to Russia, and Shiv, this is an India Today exclusive. India's big message to Russia is solution of a war cannot be found on the battleground. This is India's message to Russia very clearly. Remember in 2022, Prime Minister Narendra Modi on the sidelines of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization meeting at Samarkand in Uzbekistan had told the Russian President Vladimir Putin that this is not an era of war. And that message the West had widely interpreted as being critical of Russia. But India was only stating facts for the benefit of Russia, for the benefit of Ukraine, and for the benefit of the global South, the developing countries. And India is been representing these developing countries on multilateral fora, especially G20. So when there is a conflict between Russia and Ukraine, it impacts these two countries, but it impacts global oil supply, it impacts global fertilizer supply, it impacts global grain supply, and all of this, while it impacts these two countries and the world, it very extensively impacts Shiv, the developing countries, the global South countries. If they don't have fertilizers, agriculture will suffer. If they don't have oil or oil prices go up by $10, it impacts economies, it impacts inflation. If they don't have food grain, what will they eat? Food grain prices go up. So all of that is the message that India is trying to get across to Russia, that a solution of a conflict, of a war cannot be found in the battlefield. Much more on this in the times ahead, but I get you more in these reports.
A decade of bonhomie, cemented with cooperation and mutual understanding. What has been a traditional international friendship took a leap forward with the confidence of two strong leaders, Narendra Modi and Vladimir Putin. Moscow and New Delhi always stand by each other.
चाहे संकट का कालखंड हो या सुविधा का कालखंड हो, कोई एक देश बिना झिझक को अगर हिंदुस्तान के साथ खड़ा रहा तो उस देश का नाम है रशिया.
First of all, let me say that the relations between Russia and India are consistently developing in all the areas, and the main guarantor for that is the policy led by Prime Minister Modi. His Excellency is one of the politicians of the global scale that I was talking about previously, without giving the names. I cannot imagine His Excellency Modi getting intimidated or being forced to take any steps or actions that would go against the national interests of India and the people of India. And there is pressure against him, I am aware of that.
When the world cornered Russia over the Ukraine invasion and Moscow needed to survive economically, New Delhi, while condemning war, bought oil from them as it was cheap and suited Indian interest. Despite worldwide criticism, India stood its ground.
It is our duty to the Indian people that we go out in the world and get oil at the lowest price so that the interests of the Indian people are protected. So when people ask me this question, I tell them very honestly, I don't go out to buy Russian oil. I go out to buy the cheapest oil I can find, which may or may not happen to be Russian at that point of time.
Deputy National Security Advisor was just in India recently in the last few weeks, conveying clearly what the consequences of violating sanctions would be and what the mechanisms are, and also making clear that that we do not think India should accelerate or increase imports of Russian energy and other commodities, even as obviously those decisions are made by individual countries, and also making clear that we stand ready to support India as in any efforts to diversify its imports and serve as a reliable supplier, even as they're only importing about 1 to 2% of their oil from India.
In a decade of Narendra Modi as the Prime Minister, he and Russian President Vladimir Putin have met each other 16 times. The total trade volume between the two have grown over the years as a testimony from more than $10,110 million in 2019-20 to more than $65,692 million in the last fiscal, despite dipping to $8,000 million in the pandemic year of 2020-21. Russia's share in India's crude imports soared to 19.1% in fiscal year 2022-23. In fact, India's crude imports from Russia jumped 14 times in the same fiscal year, rising to $31.02 billion from just $2.2 billion in the previous year of 2021-22.
Something has happened this time. I cannot tell you. The whole Russia is talking about is more exciting. You can say everybody's excited. Everybody knows about this thing. Russian media has been covering it very positively, and it's again the proud moment for the Russians because Prime Minister is coming for the first bilateral visit after his third time coming to the power.
Narendra Modi's first visit as the Prime Minister of India to St. Petersburg way back in 2017 was an emotional one. He remembered his visit to the Russian city as the Gujarat Chief Minister in 2001. St. Petersburg Declaration of 2017 became the benchmark of stability in a turbulent, interdependent and interconnected world. 2 years later, in Modi 2.0, the Indian Prime Minister was at Vladivostok and participated in the 5th Eastern Economic Forum as the chief guest. Both leaders noted progressive development of the special and privileged strategic partnership between India and Russia. Russian President Vladimir Putin came calling in December of 2021. The two leaders gave impetus for sustained progress in the special and privileged strategic partnership between both countries despite the challenges posed by the COVID pandemic. Within months of this meeting, Russia invaded Ukraine and the war still continues. but it did not impact the relations India and Russia have built over decades. Neither did it impact the bonhomie enjoyed by the two leaders. In September 2022, Prime Minister Narendra Modi met Russian President Vladimir Putin in Samarkand, Uzbekistan, on the sidelines of the 22nd meeting of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization to discuss important issues of bilateral cooperation as well as regional and global issues of interest like the global food security, energy security and availability of fertilizers. Prime Minister Modi made 4 visits to Russia during his first term and only 1 in the second term. In the third term, he kicked off his foreign bilateral talks with a visit to Russia, indicating a deeper tie to look forward to in Modi 3.0.
And day 2 of this very important dialogue between India and Russia begins right here at the Kremlin, where Prime Minister Narendra Modi will begin by paying respect at the tomb of the unknown soldier. It's very important what's written here. Your name is unknown, but your deeds are immortal. And these are the braves of the Russian army who made the supreme sacrifice of their lives fighting Nazi Germany between 1941 and 1945. That's when the day begins, and through the day there'll be lots more on India-Russia engagement. We'll be reporting from Ground Zero here at the Kremlin in Moscow, Russia. But that is all I have for you on this special broadcast. Many thanks for watching.